We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live. Boxing Ego unpack. Yeah. We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live. Max Kellerman is the ultimate boxing shill now, and he shills for Dana White. You hate to see it. Tragedy, scandal, mayhem, controversy. In this video, I'm gonna tell you what Max Kellerman did, and I'm really gonna unpack it and tell you the problem, and we're just gonna have a good old grandiose time. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. I got my trusted headset, and we about to cook. Now, I watched the Canelo versus Crawford final press conference. I've been very vocal. This promotion has been atrocious. For what is being advertised, don't miss it, once in a lifetime, fight of the century, fight of the millennium. It's been completely awful, bloody awful, horrible. Press conference, not much happened. They catfished the boxing fans. They had Canelo and Crawford's picture on their YouTube channel, and it said open workout, and it showcased like Crawford in a fighting stance and Canelo nor Crawford did a workout. A fight of this magnitude, and there's no workout. Why? Why is there no open workout from either fighter? Right? And that, to me, that seems about fishy. Like, are you hiding something? Is there a fighter who they don't want to show something, or there's rumors that people are injured? You know, Crawford's kind of making it a joke, but what else can you do? Because if you are truly injured, you're not going to just say, hey, it's me. My shoulder really is bad. So of course you're going to like have a poker face. So we don't really know, but they didn't do an open workout. Fight of this magnitude, why not? Right? And when I think of fights like Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford, it felt bigger. It felt like a big fight for boxing. Not as big as another fight that happened that year, Gervonta Davis and Ryan Garcia, but it felt important. It was for 4 belts, all the belts, and the anticipation for fans was through the roof. This, they came out with all the gimmicks. Oh, Dana White and TKO, UFC embedded, and big screens and backdrops, and it just still feels flat. It feels completely flat. And then they disrespected a boxing reporter at this same press conference, Sean Zelle. He was given the opportunity to ask a question, and he asked a tough question about TKO, Dana White, Turkey, and their plans to change and amend the Muhammad Ali Reform Act, which protects the fighters. That is an important issue in boxing. What are your plans? Why are you doing this? You know, how does this benefit the fighters? Who does this benefit? And what Dana White did? He tried to roast and tried to belittle the boxing reporter Sean Zelle as if he was just some outlandish fool, like some drunkard in a bar who's just like burping and like not speaking coherently. But everything was professional. He didn't snatch the mic like Kanye West, and you ducked and dodged the question. That makes you look bad. You have to understand, Dana White hasn't been in boxing. He can try to take credit for 2 of the 3 biggest live gates. We don't know you. Diehard boxing fans, we don't know you like that. We know you for UFC. It's like what Kendrick said to Drake. He said, I like Drake with the melodies. I don't like Drake when he act tough. We know you for the melodies. We know you for the UFC. We don't really know you for boxing. So to take one of ours, a boxing reporter who was asking a legit question that fighters, fans, media want to know, and then you're like, you're an a-hole. Shut up. We'll talk about it sidebar, one-on-one. Schedule an interview with me. The cameras are rolling right now. Everybody's here right now. Why don't you discuss it in front of the people? What do you have to hide? So to me, that's another thing that hurt this promotion, because you have pretty much the two arguing. And I know I'm getting off track a little bit, but that's how this promotion has been. Everything they do just feels off and forced. They did the day before the grand arrivals, they floated out, they had like a floater, and they went into some water in Vegas where there's Bellagio fountains or something, and they're taking pictures. And people were like, that looks like a wedding photo. And it was Dana White, Turkey, and Canelo and Crawford. So all that for a photo shoot. The fans can't be on the raft or whatever for safety, and you know, it just didn't feel like boxing. It just felt like engagement photos or something. So it just, I don't know what they're trying, and the things they're trying to innovate just haven't hit. Then let's get to Max Kellerman. They brought back Max Kellerman. He got fired from ESPN and let go of an ESPN First Take. Stephen A. Smith said, this is not working. We don't have the chemistry, whatever. So he got released. We don't know where he's been. Initially, back in the day, he did his thing on HBO. We don't really know where he's been after ESPN, right? But I told you, in my opinion, I feel like Turkey, one of his major problems is, like, on top of like kind of narcissistic type attitude, is I think he really reads the comments and goes on Reddit and goes on boxing Twitter and these forums, and he's seeing what people are saying, and he's trying to build his brand and business around the speech of people. That's not what you do, because it's the internet. There's a lot of people, they don't have good business ideas. If they did, they would be in business, right? Like, I get people all the time as a full-time YouTuber for 20 years, right? And people will try to tell me what I need to do, how I should do it, how I should make boxing content. If you were so knowledgeable and you were so versed in making the correct boxing content, why don't you have a channel? Why don't you do it? Why don't you open up a YouTube and you get 300,000 plus subs or whatever I got, and you do what I'm doing? If you know so much, it should be nothing. You should be able to make another Hove, as Jay-Z would say, right? So looking at boxing, like, remember they tried to bring back Jim Lampley? I don't know where he's did. They brought him back, and I don't think he did that great. You know, he was like kind of, his voice sounded off. Like, you got to understand, these people have been like, it's a long time since the HBO days, put it that way. Jim Lampley sounded like, I don't want to say old, but he sounded like his voice was hoarse, like he couldn't really talk or something. And he was stuttery and stammering, and it just didn't have the same feel of like HBO telecast where everything was clear and decipherable and whatnot. And then whatever, I don't know what happened with Jim Lampley, why he's not involved or whatever's going on there. Cause I thought he left payperview.com to be with Turkey, but I haven't seen him one time on any panel with this. So I don't know what happened there. It's none of my business, whatever. But then they bring Max Kellerman and give him a show. And to be honest, he seemed worse than ever. He seemed like a complete shill, and he been out the game so long where his takes are just like ludicrous. Like, we're going to get into it, but it was disappointing because back in the day, like early HBO, Max Kellerman was almost like a voice of reason. So I'm like, that dude, he's good, right? But things changed, because I remember like one talking point, this what dates me back with like the HBO stuff, is Guillermo El Chical Rigondeaux. I really remember, while everybody else primarily was dishing on the Cuban fighter Rigondeaux and saying, oh, he suck, he boring and all that, Max Kellerman was kind of one of the ones that was like, nah, he could fight. He's a sharpshooter. Donaire need to fight him. You know, this guy need to take the fight. Scott Quigg, Leo Santa Cruz, y'all got to fight him. So I respected that because most people weren't saying that. So I thought Max was like on some real boxing aficionado stuff, and he was just like super well versed and like super boxing nerd. But this, he'd been saying too many weird takes, and he did it on ESPN too. So now he's just looking like a company man, right? He was on ESPN, said Tom Brady's never going to get a ring. That same year, Tom Brady won the Super Bowl. So you looked foolish there. And then now you're in boxing and you're looking foolish again. I mean, it's just, I don't know. I don't know what type of checks they're handing out, but it's very disappointing for somebody who earlier on had the respect of boxing fans. And now it looked like you completely sold out for a check. You're saying stuff that it don't even make sense, right? Which we'll get into because I know that's what y'all really want to hear. So I'll let you hear it and then I'll chime in. This is Max Kellerman at the Canelo Crawford press conference. And he was completely glazing D1 Glazer, Dana White, and he started giving Dana White all this credit. But you have to understand, I'm trying to tell you the best way I know how. Boxing fans are real. We don't always get along. We don't always agree with each other. But there's certain things that are going to have us unified. Like what happened with Sean Zelle was absolutely wrong. Boxing fans, real fans, are pretty much unified. Dana White blew it and mishandled that situation. And it didn't make Sean Zelle look bad. It made you look bad. So we will unite. We'll argue about fights like, oh, Virgil Ortiz and Boots Ennis, who wins, or Canelo Crawford. But there are certain things that we stand up, anybody with integrity. I don't care about like snakes and people with no integrity. This is one of them. So Dana White is the new kid on the block, and he's kind of coming in like he knows it, boxing. You haven't earned the respect of boxing fans. So let's just put it that way. You're a hitchhiker. Turkey's your meal ticket. He appointed you. That's why you're here. You're not here based on, and it's funny because Dana White's a Trump dude, and a lot of these Trump supporters, they be talking about DEI and, oh, this is a DEI halftime show with Kendrick Lamar. But what's really DEI? How did you get this job? You got Eddie Hearn, who's promoted big Anthony Joshua shows, right? You got Frank Warren, who promoted Prince Nassim and Tyson Fury Wilder. You got Oscar De La Hoya, who worked with Turkey. Oscar's a former fighter. He promoted Canelo Golovkin 1 and 2, right? So let's talk about DEI. How did Dana White land this, whatever they're saying, the biggest fight in boxing history? How did he land it with really no boxing promotion history, right? Because Canelo is never been your fighter. Crawford's never been your fighter. And you were somewhat associated, I don't even really want to say involved, with the Conor McGregor and Mayweather fight, but you really weren't, because I was there. I went and covered that fight, and it was a Showtime bill. The only reason you're involved is because Dana White is with the UFC, and Conor McGregor could not do the fight as a contracted UFC fighter without your blessing. So you had to be included. But that don't mean you did the work. Showtime did the work. Espinoza did the work. I know the people that did the work, right? Like, I've covered their fights and stuff. So it's very bizarre. And that Max would go out like this. Roll the clip.
Really popular. That's because of Dana White. He built something like the NBA. Stop now, because he's about to do it.
See, they're booing him because he, like, boxing fans are like, we ain't trying to hear this Dana White stuff. And he was like, he built the UFC, which is something like the NBA. It is really whatever. I'm whatever. It's nothing like the NBA, but whatever. The NBA actually pays fight like their players and stuff. LeBron James, like, from being in the NBA, sold how many jerseys, was in Space Jam 2, and got a podcast. You know, come on. How many UFC fighters are bigger than LeBron James or Kobe Bryant? Michael Jordan, all people who played in the NBA. So that was stupid right off rip. And then they start booing him and he's like, stop that.
Really popular, that's because of Dana White. He built something like the NBA. Stop now, because he's about to do it for boxing again. For boxing now. You want some?
They still booing. Dana White, you're making it like he's the savior of boxing. Like Al Heyman ain't put all the biggest fights that we've seen in our generation, not no Muhammad Ali or Mike Tyson, but in the new generation. And you bigging up Dana White as if he ain't even got through the Canelo Crawford fight. We don't even know if that's going to be a good fight. The promotion has sucked, and you're acting like he's the Lord and Savior of like boxing promotion. That's why you're getting booed.
You want an NBA or an NFL in boxing? Here it comes. Because he knows how to build an institution. And how do you do that?
Hey Max. Boxing is always bigger and big. Don't say boxing is not big enough. Boxing is big. You know.
English Canelo for the win. Shout out to English Canelo. See, this is what I'm saying. You got fans who are like, they're trying to make it a race thing. Terrence Crawford doesn't stand up for certain things. Terrence Crawford seems like he's kind of in it for him and his team. Canelo was the one that took the mic and said, hey, Max, like basically, Max, you're tripping. You're tripping. Don't say that. What you're saying, he's basically saying in layman's terms, I'm a paraphrase. Max, I was born ready. He's basically saying you're capping. You know what you're saying is not true. Boxing has always been bigger. Boxing is that it sport. Boxing is and the UFC, cool. I ain't got nothing against them, but boxing, you're not gonna make it like Dana White did all this stuff, but then boxing, he literally said, and I didn't play that part of the clip, Max Kellerman literally said that boxing is like in the doldrums basically, and boxing ain't as big as it used to be, but the UFC is popping. What are you talking about, dog? The UFC, if we're really being real, and I don't have a problem with the UFC, I got a problem with what you saying because it's cap. Subscribe to the channel, smash the like button. It's cap. What you're saying is cap. Let's be real. The UFC in recent memory has been worse than it's ever been. Because I've watched the UFC. Who are their stars? Conor McGregor, he ain't fought in 5 years. He was the biggest star probably in the UFC history. He ain't fought. Legendary people like Jose Aldo, retired. Anderson Spider Silva, retired. Nick Diaz, not really in the UFC, right? Legends like Rampage and Rashad and Chuck Liddell, they out of here. They're not fighting. Rampage doing podcasts. John Jones, he had a 3-4 year hiatus, whooped Stipe into retirement, and then he dipped out and said he was retired and didn't fight Tom Aspinall for whatever reason, and now Aspinall's fighting against a Surreal Game, which is not bigger than if John Jones would have fought against Aspinall. So what are you talking about? The UFC is like basically doing it right and bigger. That's why Canelo checked him, because Canelo, he know English now. So he know what Max Kellerman was saying was a bunch of poppycock and cap. And Max Kellerman was doing so much tap dancing and shilling, trying to please Massa and Dana White, that he looked crazy. Crawford didn't say nothing. Canelo stood up for boxing. Like, Max, come on, bro, don't say that. Boxing's always been bigger. UFC, cool, but like you making it. So Canelo wasn't buying it, and I respect Canelo for speaking on that.
How to build an institution. And how do you do that?
Hey Max. Boxing is always bigger and big. Don't say boxing is not big enough. Boxing is big. You know how big is boxing.
Should it get bigger, yes or no? Should it get bigger, Canelo?
Maybe it's gonna be bigger, but look, boxing is always big and big and bigger and bigger and bigger. We need to talk about that too. Boxing is boxing.
I love Canelo in English, by the way. I love
Boxing
it.
is boxing.
No lies. No lies.
Comparison.
How do you do it?
Comparison there?
Now, you know somebody is shilling because Max, oh, I love English Canelo. You see how he immediately, as soon as Canelo checked him, he didn't have nothing for him because he got called out. See, if that was me, if it's something I believe in, I'm not going to let Canelo, if I really believe in what I'm saying, I'm not going to let Canelo knock me off my pivot, knock me off my positioning when I believe it, right? Max did it because he knew he was doing too much. Like, talking about the UFC, like they don't have no flaw. They don't even pay their fighters. They took away all the sponsorships, and you acting like the UFC model is bigger than boxing. Put it this way. If what I'm saying is not true, then how come former UFC guys are now boxing and getting more respect because they were losing in the UFC because it's a different sport? Tony Ferguson, he just knocked out Salt Poppy, and people are like, all right, he's back. In the UFC, because of how that's set up, he had like 7-8 losses in a row, and he was like forgotten about. That's why these guys, they end up going to, used to be Bellator or PFL or Misfits boxing, celebrity boxing, bare knuckle, other stuff. Mike Perry, he doing bare knuckle, right? Yoel Romero, he doing a little bit of everything, bare knuckle and dirty boxing. Why are these guys going to boxing or close to boxing? You know what I mean? Luke Rockhold, he just got knocked out. Darren Till. These fighters are getting paid. You have people who are like, man, like when Ngannou fought Tyson Fury, he said, I made more than I pretty much made in all my fights in the UFC, fighting Tyson Fury. And then he fought Joshua and got bagged up. You see what I'm saying? So for Max, that's like sellout behavior, bro. You came up in boxing, and then now you're trying to advocate because Dana White's right there and he's the lead promoter. Now you're trying to advocate, and like, it is really disingenuous. You're really trying to advocate to the boxing fans who watch this sport every weekend, right? And you're trying to advocate like Dana White's our savior. They're trying to take away boxers' rights with the Muhammad Ali Act. Bro, that's why I'm glad people are calling him out. And Canelo, shout out to him for sticking up for boxing. Terrence Crawford wasn't going to do it until Canelo said something, right? Crawford's like, man, I'm getting paid. And he was kind of just there. It took for Canelo Alvarez. And I love it because Canelo's big enough where you better not disrespect him. He's a star of the show. You know what I mean? So big up to Canelo for sticking up for boxing when BS was being said.
So how do you do it? You have someone like...
My respect for all of their sport. Great job, everything, but boxing is boxing.
You have someone like Turki Al-Sheikh. You have someone like Dana White. And then you go out and get the most competent executive there is. That's Nick Khan. WWE's own Nick Khan. Guys, this is who's bringing you the event. This event will be the most watched boxing match. I mean, championship level boxing match. I see you, Lennox. Championship level boxing match in almost 50 years because of Netflix. More people will watch this than any fight since Muhammad Ali fought Leon Spinks in 1978.
Bro, listen to the crowd. He already lost the crowd. You was already saying that shield stuff, and you're still kind of going on. Oh, you got the most competent guy, Nick Khan. I don't know if they have that in his show notes where he got it like Glazed Turkey and Dana and Nick Khan and, Amir Khan or whoever these people are. But this look bad, bro.
And what we have here are two of the all-time greats. Canelo Alvarez is not just one of the greatest fighters in the history of Mexico. He's one of the greatest fighters, period.
You already lost the crowd, my boy. It's over. You already lost them saying that stupid stuff. Boxing fans are not dumb. I don't know why they try to treat us like we're dumb. like boxing fans, we don't know anything, we don't remember anything. That's very weird to me. Very, very weird.
And then Dana White. Dana White is the greatest combat sports promoter in my lifetime. He built an institution. You know why boxing's not as popular as it used to be anymore, right? UFC is really popular. That's because of Dana White. He built something like the NBA. Stop now, because he's about to do it for boxing again.
Bro, get this man out of here. They dug this man's career up just for him to get booed and lose the entire audience talking about Dana White and trying to glaze Dana White, and all the boxing fans is mad. I told you, Dana White is an outsider. I don't know the man. I don't have nothing against him, but you're still an outsider. You have to earn your keep with boxing fans. Boxing fans aren't just going to give you a bunch of credit. So you're like, oh, this team is so amazing. They haven't done anything amazing. You haven't even completed Canelo versus Crawford. Dana White, the whole entire crowd watched Dana White refuse to answer Sean Zattel's question and deflect to get the heat off of himself, and then try to make it look like Sean Zattel was like a vagrant who was just talking gibberish, right? We just watched that. And then for Max to shield to this level and then make it look like Dana White is boxing's like last hope, or he's like this apostle that's going to save boxing and put on the best shows. He hasn't proven that. You're like, oh, he's the greatest combat sports promoter of my lifetime. Bro, stop it. Al Heyman put on more big events as an advisor than Dana White. Book it. Look it up. A black man from Cleveland, Al Heyman, because he was working with Mayweather. Mayweather Pacquiao is bigger than anything Dana White's ever done. Period. And I've already talked about it. Mayweather versus Conor McGregor. Dana wasn't the lead promoter. He was like a tag along. He was just there because Conor McGregor was under a UFC contract. So he kind of had rights to be there. He didn't throw that. I was there. I covered that fight. So you're not going to convince me of this stuff, right? And you just sitting up here slobbing and, oh, Dana did this. And you're trying so hard to kiss Dana White's butt. It came off bad, and Canelo had to check you, and that also looked bad, right? Bro, I don't know. I told you, Turkey would have been better cashing Boxing Ego out for the help. I try to tell you, because you have to really understand this sport. I keep telling you, this man, Turkey, is wasting money because you're putting people on the Ring magazine. They can't help these events. Like I'm not even going to say the people's names, but some of the people on Ring, what are they going to do to really move the crowd? Right? Like some of these writers and people, like what are they going to do to hype up the crowd? Then you're like drudging up Jim Lampley. What did he do to really, now where is he at anyway? I thought he was working with y'all, and this is y'all biggest American fight and no Jim Lampley, right? Then you got Max Kellerman trying to suck up to Dana White, and he's pretty much losing the whole crowd, pretty much getting booed. And not pretty much, he was getting booed. And he was like, hey, stop that. And it just was awkward silence. Dana White's arguing with boxing reporters instead of answering the questions. This is not how you enter the sport of boxing. You know, Netflix, and the reason why this is also bad is because this is your first impression with Netflix. And there's a press conference that's wild boring, is mad boring. Nothing really happened. I looked at the numbers on YouTube and the numbers weren't great. It never went over 20,000 continuous viewers, not even close to 20,000, right? So you're not doing like astronomical numbers. And then Turkey's events, they keep having these like awkward segues where it just becomes like praising the people who put this together. That is not going to win the boxing fans. I'm here to tell you that. That is not it. It is not the ticket. Like, oh, Nick Khan, and Shao Kahn and blah, 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 and Turkey and this person and Dana White did this. Boxing fans, they didn't come there for Dana White and all these sidebar behind the scenes people. See, they call me ego, but these people have big egos because their ego is so big, everything has to be a send-off for them. Oh, we made a cake for His Excellency, and Dana White did this, and photo ops, and they're in every picture. And bro, in business, it is much better to focus on the customer, what the customer wants, and then you would look at your fighters as well. We drive this thing. We control this thing. Like, and really no amount of words, the more, I really feel like the more you try to force feed, like you're saying Dana White's the greatest combat sports promoter ever. Why? Canelo Golovkin did great numbers. Oscar De La Hoya was in charge of that one. So has Dana White done a fight that was bigger than Canelo Golovkin and made more money?
And then Dana White. Dana White is the greatest combat sports promoter in my lifetime. He built an institution. You know why boxing's not as popular as it used to be anymore, right? UFC is really popular. That's because of Dana White.
Bro, the whole thing is embarrassing. Boxing is not as popular as it used to be. Then why are you there for a boxing gig? Why are you not there for a UFC gig? Why this weekend people are talking about boxing? Why are they not talking about UFC? Okay, bro, get this man out of here, bro. The more I think about it, the more it angers me because it sounds so stupid. UFC Noche, nobody's really talking about that. That's not going to represent bigger numbers than Canelo versus Crawford. Oh yeah, the boxing fight. So if UFC was so much bigger than boxing, which is what some of y'all like to say, then why is UFC Noche? You should make more money from UFC Noche on the same day than you're going to make. And we know that's not going to happen. So why are you saying this stuff? It sounds stupid. Then he said UFC is popular because of Dana White. So it's not popular because of Chuck Liddell and Tito Ortiz and Rampage and all these people, John Jackson or John Jones and all these people knocking people out and spinning heel kicks and all that. It's not. It's because of Dana White. Like you went outside, bro. Straight up. That's why Canelo checked you. You went outside. And Turkey's big idea was to bring Max Kellerman back. But for me, it kind of defeats the whole purpose. Do you notice Ring keep having these hosts and then they got to change the host out? Like they had a fight, like I want to say Ryan Garcia, Rolly, Devin Haney, and then Bill Haney cussed out the host. Remember? And then they had the Ring dude with the ponytail and he did horrible. Dougie Fisher. He did horrible for like one of the first Ring. It was Ryan and Rolly again, I guess. And he did the emceeing on the host, and it was terrible. It was terrible, and then they replaced him. Right now, they done dug up Max Kellerman off the EDD line, and he's got the fans mad and booing. Some host, like, doesn't that defeat the whole purpose of hosting? Like, if the Academy Awards want Chris Rock to host the Oscar, people are supposed to be laughing with him and laughing at the jokes and like entertained by it, right? You're not supposed to be like, boo, this is terrible. You know what I mean? That's exactly what's happening. So what an embarrassment for boxing that you have people who started in boxing pretty much. I mean, I don't know his whole history, but I know Max Kellerman from boxing. You know what I mean? And you're trying to suck up to UFC and Dana White. Boxing fans do not want to hear that because it's not that they just don't want to hear it. It's not true. It's not true. So why should they hear it? Anyway, that's my rant. I had to go off because it's not making no sense, bro. You try so hard and ain't all that for Canelo to check you. And there's a bunch of these like hiccups that this promotion continues to have. I seen they have a new show with Max Kellerman and the Mike Coppinger dude. And then Roy Jones is talking about Canelo Crawford, and he's saying his piece as a fighter. And then they're arguing. Mike Coppinger and Roy started pretty much arguing about whatever. They started arguing about what happened, and it looked bad, bro. Here, I'll let y'all be the judge. So this is Max Kellerman's new show with Mike Coppinger, and then Roy is saying his piece, and I guess the Mike Coppinger dude disagreed with it, and him and Roy started like going at it. Roll the clip.
Terrence has never been known as a one-punch knockout guy, but neither is Canelo. So neither one of these guys are really known. Wait a minute, neither one of these guys are really known as knockout guys.
That's not true.
Let me tell you why. He don't know boxing like I know boxing.
I know that Canelo knocked out Kirkland and Amir Khan with one shot.
Stop. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. No, Roy's right about this.
See, he started getting mad. This is dysfunctional, bro.
Let me tell you why. Neither one of these guys are really known. Wait a minute, neither one of these guys are really known as.
And like my thing is this, is like Roy is a legend. Even if you disagree with his opponent, you gonna let him talk for 4 seconds and cut him off? You know what I mean? Like, I don't even care about the size and like, is Canelo a one punch? Like, just let the man finish. At least it's supposed to be a professional show. Let him rock and get his point off and then rebuttal it or whatever. This is just sloppy.
Terrence has never been known as a one-punch knockout guy, but neither is Canelo. So neither one of these guys are really known. Wait a minute, neither one of these guys are really known as knockout guys.
That's not true.
Let me tell you why. He don't know boxing like I know boxing.
I know that Canelo knocked out Kirkland and Amir Khan with one shot.
Stop. That's what I'm trying to say.
No, Roy's right about this.
Let me break it up.
But Amir Khan was chinny and would get knocked out.
At 175, 2 shots.
He was a shot Kovalev, and he went 10 rounds, and it
Okay,
wasn't
now
one or
we're
two
making-
shots.
okay.
He broke him down. Roy's talking about bop, and you're gone.
Was Kirkland one shot, bop and gone?
No, Kirkland was a guy who came straight forward and got chopped up and knocked out.
Okay.
Yeah. Go ahead,
So,
Roy.
again, like I said, he's not been known as a one-punch knockout guy.
Embarrassing. Let me know what you think in the comments. We unpacked. Live streaming can be tough, which is why I use StreamYard. Click the link in the description for StreamYard, which is an awesome tool that enables you to set up your stream with ease of use. Get great results with live streaming. It's what I use. Stream to social media with ease with StreamYard. Live streaming is here to stay. Engage with your audience using StreamYard. Great way to reach out to your audience and connect. So you need a tool that can do that. If you're new to YouTube and you're struggling to get views, one tool I can provide to you is TubeBuddy. I've been on YouTube over 10 years. I use TubeBuddy daily to crank out videos just like this one that you're watching. Learn how the pros do it with TubeBuddy. YouTube receives a lot of traffic, which also means a lot of creators, a lot of people putting out content. So you need to learn the ropes so you know how to separate yourself, especially if you're new, but even if you're a pro, use TubeBuddy. The link is in the description. Get more views, more subscribers, and a higher click-through rate, so ultimately you can realize all of your online goals. Use my affiliate link in the description and grow your channel fast.